Howdy goat lovers, Derek here at Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and today I want to talk to you about the drought and how it's affecting us and our animals. Now if you're new to the channel, we live in southern Arizona, so hot and dry is the norm around here. We normally only receive 15 inches of annual rainfall, and most of that falls during the rainy season, which is the months of July, August, and September. Believe it or not, those summer monsoons are all it takes to get our pastures to grow back, providing our goats with forage for the next year. But it really didn't rain last year. Here at our goat ranch, we have only received 4.5 inches of rain since March of 2020. So last monsoon season, our pastures did not grow back. And we only have one little area with 2-year-old dead, dry browse in it, and we're saving that for when the little doelings we retain this year join the rest of the doe herd. So the drought is causing our goats to be penned up rather than out browsing, which is causing us to buy more feed. And since the drought is affecting the whole state of Arizona and basically the entire West, everybody's buying more feed from the places that can irrigate their fields, which means the cost of feed is going to go up. And this has us reevaluating our long-term plans. And the first thing that comes up is the Kunekune Pigs. Now we bought these 4 Kunekune Pigs in the spring of 2020. We selected this breed because they're a grazing pig that doesn't root and destroy pastures. And when we had pasture for them to be out grazing in, they lived up to those expectations. They did graze and they didn't root around and destroy everything. We originally planned on selling most of the piglets to offset the feed cost of raising the Kunekune pigs. Now we were going to keep a few piglets to raise for meat as well as lard for soap making for the family. But when it didn't rain last year, we decided to sell all of the piglets to offset the feed cost of keeping the breeding stock around. But thinking long term, because of the drought, our land just can't support these Kunekune pigs. Now we've talked about just selling them right now, but we have decided to keep them until after they have their piglets and then sell everything in a hope to break even on our Kunekune investment. Now, Kunekune pigs take a year to reach breeding age, so we have a lot of time and money invested in them. But thinking long term, this land just can't support them, so they are out of the long-term plans for this property. Now, if we knew for certain that we could move to greener pastures within a year or so, we would keep the breeding stock around just because it takes so long to get them to a breeding age. So by keeping them around until after they pig and we wean the pigs, we're also kind of kicking the can down the road a bit, if you will, and hoping housing prices come down and a couple other things go right so we can move. But until that happens, we're just going to proceed as if we're going to be here for a while, and the pigs are out of the long-term plans for this property. So we're going to move the pigs back over under those shady trees that served them so well last year so we can give that giant shade that we built for the pigs to the goats. Because if the goats are going to be penned up, rather than out browsing, they're going to need more pen space. Another thing we can do to cut down on feed cost is grow more things in the garden that are specifically just for the chickens and the ducks. We didn't plant a spring garden this year, partially because the drought was just so disappointing last year. But we're about to invest in some shade cloth and plant a fall garden as soon as possible. This will provide us, as well as our poultry, with some homegrown food. Now we do have a residential well, and it's working fine. None of our neighbors' wells are drying or up or anything. Now the well is for the house, the animals, and the garden. And I'm not going to run the well dry, trying to green up an acre for the goats to browse on. I'm going to use the well for its intended purposes as long as I can. Now we did terrace a few areas last year in an attempt to catch and hold more rainwater to hopefully grow more browse for the animals. And we will continue to berm and terrace areas using our goat compost. It's free, it fertilizes the area, and we got to do something with it anyway. And as far as rainwater harvesting, I planned on putting gutters on the giant pig/goat shade that I built last fall, and I still will, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And also, the house needs a new roof, and when we get that done, we will get gutters put on the house all the way around too. Now I've wanted to build a giant rainwater collection area up on top of the hill. Now that basically amounts to a giant metal roof, a foot or two off the ground. And it catches all the rain and then gravity feeds it down to a tank. And then you can gravity feed anything down below. So for us, it'd be for the animals and the garden. But investing in anything like that right now in a drought feels kind of stupid. I feel like that money would be better spent on a new homestead in Muscovy. But until then, we're just going to have to make do with the land that we have and remind ourselves on how fortunate we are to have it. So tomorrow we pick back up where we left off before kidding season, back to building a working homestead together as a family, all while working a homestead and raising a family. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hello goat lovers, this is Crystal here with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and I am actually at the home that we are in the middle of purchasing. So hopefully everything goes through. I've been watching for literally over a year for the right land, and this one is absolutely perfect. It's 10.5 acres, and I'm dying because it's a little less than a month to the closing date, and I'm really, really hoping everything goes through. This land, we live out here in the desert, so it's very, very hard to find any land that has any grazing options on it. It's usually all dirt and rock, but this land, the goats can graze some of the year. And this, I mean, it doesn't even show you. It's a little bit hilly, it's not flat, but you can't hardly see any of it. So I'm up on top of the hill a little, and you can see the views, mountain views. It's just beautiful, so peaceful. My goats and human kids are going to love it. And all over there, we'll walk a little closer, but they can't build because it's a big deep wash. So, also very beneficial. Let's see if you guys can see that. Well, I don't know if you guys can see it, but just beautiful. I've been looking for so long, and this came up. It was on the market. It hasn't even been 2 weeks since it's been on the market. We were one of the 5 offers that came in. So I'm feeling pretty lucky, and I hope the luck continues till we actually have the keys in our hand.